All right, we are rolling on with our Rowdy season preview of the 2011 NASCAR season. I'm sitting here with the Sporting News's Matt Crossman talking Tony Stewart today, number 6 in the NASCAR Illustrated Season Preview Edition. Is that high enough for Tony Stewart?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you always got to put Tony in the top 3 of at least talented drivers. And if he's got Hendrick equipment, which is the top in the game, I mean, it's him and Jimmy, I would say, should be the top 2 guys pretty much year round. I guess you put Kyle Busch in there too, but you always kind of wonder which Kyle Busch it's going to be.
Yeah, now, you know, Tony is obviously very talented. Last year, he did win twice, but it was a bit of a struggle, and that was reflected in some of the other Hendrick-equipped drivers. How much is he dependent on how good the Hendrick stuff is?
Oh, he's 100% dependent on it. Bad car equals bad finishes. There's no two ways about it. Tony's great. I mean, he could take decent equipment and make it better, but you can't win a championship in bad equipment.
So was that basically what happened to him last year?
I think it is, and you have to assume with Hendrick's history that if they have improved equipment, I would bet that they have, that he's going to be right back there as a championship contender.
You know, it was interesting to see Tony. He did make the chase last year. Looked like he was going to win that first race of the chase. Made a fuel mileage gamble call, which I think at the time, if we go back and look at the archives, I said was a mistake. It was a mistake, and that really hurt him.
It did, and you know, Tony's a great driver, but I think he's a guy who, if he starts off slowly in the chase, he's going to disappear. I don't know that he's a guy that's going to you know, come back, you know, make a huge comeback. So I think the key to his season is starting out strong. And yeah, he was going to win that race, made a fuel mileage gamble, it didn't work, and you never heard from him again.
Now this is a guy that seems to be emotional. Behind the wheel and not behind the wheel. Yeah, so, I mean, is that why you think he needs that good start, because the emotions kind of take over?
I think it is. I think, you know, his history, you know, if you listen to his chatter, is, you know, he gets frustrated that he and the crew chief will sort of have it out. And, you know, there are times that he comes back. There are times that he overcomes that. But, you know, you start off bad in the chase and you don't rally from it. That's enough history for you to see.
You know, it's interesting also to think about guys trying to knock off Jimmy Johnson with the same equipment.
Yeah,
is that a good thing or a bad thing when you're trying to catch Jimmy?
Well, I think if you have the same equipment and the same crew and you put Tony against Jimmy, Tony's going to win. But if you take Jimmy gets to keep his crew, he gets to keep Chad. That gives him the advantage. So it'll come down to that. How well does Tony's crew perform, and how well does Tony perform versus Jimmy?
Now, of course, Tony's crew chief, Darian Grubb, has actually won with Jimmy, and he's won with Tony. How would you rate those two as a pair?
Well, I think this is their third year together. I think this is where you find out. I think that first year, although Tony's results were pretty good, I think that was a little bit on, what's the word? He was just, they were slinging hash. I mean, Ryan Newman has said how overwhelmed they were in that first year, and it worked for Tony. It didn't work for Ryan. Last year, you know, it was a little bit of a struggle because of the equipment. This year, you'll see how strong that combination is.
All right, so if I had to pin you down on a prediction, is this the guy that can knock Jimmy off? You think he's going to do it?
I think he can. I think after 5 or 6 races, we'll know where their equipment is. And if he's up there equipment-wise, he's a title contender, absolutely.
All right, that's Tony Stewart, number 6 on our countdown from NASCAR Illustrated, the season preview issue. Don't miss that. We'll be back to talk about, well, someone's going to be back to talk about Kevin Harvick in just a minute.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.